I just saw this post here on Twitter and it kind of intrigued me because I think there's something that's always missing from this whole conversation. I really don't know how else I'm going to put it, but I think this is probably the time to go ahead and start talking about stuff like this because you see, at the end of the day, gamers have to really understand that, hey man, you actually are the proxy and the nexus that's going to go ahead and choose how these gaming companies are going to behave. These gaming companies don't act in a vacuum. They take cues from gamers at the end of the day and they behave accordingly. Tony Polanco here said, if $80 to $90 games become the new standard, will services like Xbox Game Pass become more appealing? Now, y'all know my answer. Yes, it already is appealing. All the PlayStation fanboys have run and go sign up on Game Pass and are actually using it as a meat shield against what Nintendo is doing. Isn't it crazy? J-Dub has a big tweet where I saw from Island J Gaming saying that, oh, he's not going to buy $80 games. Thanks, Game Pass. I can just get the Series S and Game Pass for my kids. Then you have, what's his name, MBG, after he saw the Xbox review, saying, man, I might need to get Game Pass. Then you have Reforge Gaming, after all this talk about exclusives, he has Game Pass. Then you see Nib95, all of the talking heads, the whole 0.004% of them that have no bearing on the gaming industry all have Game Pass, yet they want to go ahead and almost every time try to castigate Xbox as not having all of these things and so on and so forth. But now somehow when Nintendo has come with the $80, $90 games, everybody wants to hide behind Game Pass. Oh, you see this blanket that we have over here? Oh. That's not even my concern. I think that's just a whole lot of exposing themselves. The first concern I have about this, or the main concern, is if $80 to $90 big games become the standard, so what? That's my answer. And if $80 to $90 games become the standard, so what? Yeah. This is not me condoning $80 to $90 games. Don't get me wrong. This is me laughing and saying, I dare $80 to $90 games to show up on my doorstep so that I can leave it out in the cold. You know why? Because I'm going to basically follow the economic principles that actually tell me that these $80 to $90 games are a frail notion. They are all going to come back begging and drooling and asking me to give them pennies for their once $80, once $90 game. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. I was excited to play that game. I bought the deluxe edition $100. Do you know how much that game went down to? It went down to $3. $3. Do you hear what I mean? I'm talking about an entire 97% price drop was what hit that game after the whole market pummeled onto that game like crazy. So why should I actually now, having looked and said, you know what? I'm done with buying these deluxe editions and all of this stuff from these gaming companies. Right? Because everybody's telling me, oh, VG, it's because we like the game. Well, I thought I liked the game too. I was kind of like, well, let me see what they got cooking over here. And please don't give me that, well, you should have known. No. I knew what was going on. I mean, I'm a Division player, right? So I was thinking, okay, maybe they'll cook like the Division and the game's going to have a proposition for me out there, right? Happened to be, it was not necessarily the case. So what happened? WB took my money, fired some devs, closed another studio, and then ran back into a cave somewhere to cry about how their game was not profitable. And then sold it to other people for $3. And Tony Polanco, you think I'm going to now go ahead and give another company $80 to $90? I mean, once bitten, twice shy. And I think if gamers would basically take that particular frame of mind and look and say, you know what? The bargaining power of the buyer. Now, by the way, if you want to know what this is actually a chart put together by Michael Porter, Harvard economics professor, who wrote a book that he calls On Competition, where he talks about the 5 forces that shape industry competition. Number 1 is the threat of new entrants, which is where new players are coming into the market. I'm telling you all that Nintendo needs to be scared. You guys think I'm playing? They're throwing lawsuits all over the place against Power World because they understand that threat. Some of you are not seeing it. All you're seeing is, oh, but Nintendo. I'm like, guys, they're encroaching on their turf. Before you know what's going on, everyone's going to start making Nintendo-like little games, both big and small, creators alike. Then you have the bargaining power of the suppliers. There are many more people out there that are going to be giving games and begging you to take games. Look at the good old game sale. Look at the good old game sales right here. These guys have a lot of different avenues to get games to you. They can tell you, hey, man, you want to buy Disco Elysium? You can buy a DRM free, man. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a little bit of negotiation. How do you want to play the game? DRM free, or do you want the convenience of Steam so you can carry it in your Steam Deck? These producers are basically trying to give the suppliers all kinds of different options. Then you have the bargaining power of the buyers, which is you. You can choose to pay $80 to $90 or $8 to $9 on a game. It's your choice. I showed you guys Devil May Cry, right? I showed you guys how that game by itself has basically gotten a 71% price reduction at the moment for almost all the different variations of the game. Look at it right here on Steam. This is the Devil May Cry franchise pack bundle. It used to cost about $67. Now you can buy it for $20. You can buy 3 Devil May Cry games, the first 3 games, DMC 1, 2, and 3, and you can buy them all for $9.89. You can buy, if you want, Devil May Cry 5 for $7.49 if you want, plus Virgil. They give you Virgil. Remember, I'm sure, I don't know, they maybe sold Virgil for you for like some big thing. You can get the deluxe, right? And Virgil for $9.99. So when Tony Polanco asks this question, I say, bruh, so what if games become $80 to $90? So what? It's all content. And content is not lacking in today's market. It will be the most lethal mistake for any publisher to think that they're going to leverage $80 to $90 and continue with that particular paradigm. Or perhaps they're trying to get $80 to $90 because exactly the fact that there's content everywhere, so that they can immediately scarf those who are not paying attention and quickly get that extra $10 on them. Because at the end of the day, there's only 2 things that's going to happen. People are going to buy it and people are going to subsidize it. I'm going to be one of those people who waits for the subsidy because of the simple fact that there are, according to Michael Porter's charts, substitute products or services. It's just that simple. Hack and slash game, there's a substitute. Shooter, there's another one. Racing kitty game, there's another one. Platformer, there's another one. That's because the market is actually doing something very interesting at the end of the day. And, I don't think I'm really here to convince anybody to think that way, because, to be honest, again, like I said, if you launch maybe, say, a game like Tom Clancy's The Division, 2, what am I talking about? The Division 3 today at $100, I'm going to be like, all right, guys, I'll see y'all later. You know what I mean? And so I'm just saying that if everybody starts doing $18 to $90, I'm only going to pick and prioritize my only one or none, or, whatever, depending on what's coming out in that season, to buy. And I think the gaming industry is probably in a place where it has lost its collective minds if it thinks that that's going to be a proposition out there. So I'm basically exercising my own superpower, which is watch me, whether I'm going to buy or whether I'm not. And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.